All right, so welcome to another community conversation with Wholistic Health Alliance. Today we have Alida Moncada, who is going to be talking about some self-healing techniques, and she will be introducing herself in a little more detail. But I would like to certainly mention that Alida is our featured practitioner for the month of October, and she's one of our practitioner members. So she will bring in some new information about some maybe so far not very much discussed methods of healing. So with every talk, we try to bring a new practitioner and we talk about new methods of healing, self-care, wellness, etc., all non-pharmaceutical. So in that series, we are very happy, delighted to have Alida. But before I hand over the mic to Alida, I'm going to talk briefly about Wholistic Health Alliance just for a minute, just to introduce to anybody who is listening to this talk later on about our platform. So Wholistic Health Alliance is a 501c3 nonprofit that is nationally launched. So we are nationwide. It is centrally or mainly a unified platform for all holistic practitioners to come together on one single platform to connect, to have conversations, to connect with the community, to connect with one another, learn about other holistic methods to enrich themselves, to cross-refer, and of course, mainly for what our tagline says, to build healthy communities. So our goal is also to connect with the communities around us and to educate them what else is out there, because unless they know, they cannot utilize your services. So every month we hold a free talk where one of our practitioners gives an informational, educational talk for the community to get introduced to something they already know or something that is completely new to them. So this is an ongoing learning, uh, self-empowerment platform. And in that series, we're very happy again to showcase one of our practitioners and some new healing, self-healing techniques. But if you are tuning in to this talk online later on in our YouTube video, I would like to share with you that we have our practitioner directory that I would like you to check out at our website, www.holistichealthalliance.org. And as you can see, holistic is spelled with a W here, not H. There is a story behind the W. And if you would like to know the story, go to our website, www.holistichealthalliance.org. And if you are practicing any holistic modality or are a supporter or consumer of holistic ways of living, then you should check out our website and consider joining. And last but not the least, I would like to also share about our youth initiative where we are involving youth in a conversation around health. And this is actually one of my most favorite projects where we are trying to engage youth, and under the youth brigade, in less than 2 years, we have launched 2 projects. One is Teen Mental Health Initiative, and the other one is the Food Project. So under the Teen Mental Health Initiative, we have already started 20 plus high school youth clubs focused on teen mental health. So across US in different states in less than 2 years. And the Food Project is just brand new. So we are building up on that. So if you're a parent who is watching this, and if you have a youth at home or know of young people around you in your family, please consider sharing this website with them as well, and encourage them to join the youth brigade project. We also give youth volunteer hours, community volunteer hours. So that's another plus. And I always forget to say this, but I need to also share with everyone who's listening that I'm an Ayurvedic doctor. So my background is in Ayurveda, and I love to bring my holistic tribe together. So that's my passion. And I met Alida recently in a farmer's market, and something connected us, and here we have Alida. So that's how we continue to bring in more people into our tribe. And I hope, Alida, you will also consider bringing more of, we need, post COVID, we are trying to again get back to our, there was a gap, and a lot of holistic practitioners unfortunately had to stop practicing because in person, like massage and acupuncture, they had to stop completely. And a lot of them actually changed profession, which was very sad. So we're picking up the threads again, and we want to bring in more holistic practitioners again, because we have to leave a healthier world for our children, so it's a responsibility for all of us. So over to you, Alida. Please introduce yourself to our listeners, and then we would love to listen from you with some self-healing techniques. Over to you.
Thank you, Prativa, for the invitation. My name is Alida. I was born in Peru. I met my husband in Lima, that is the capital city in Peru, and he was already living in the Amazon rainforest since 2001 or 2002 with a shaman, with no water, no electricity, and I was a lawyer in Lima. I already had a background with my family because they are herbalists, my grandmothers, but I disconnected when one of my grandmothers, she passed away. So when I met my husband, it was the call of the universe saying, like, you have to go back to the path from your ancestors. So we start running plant medicine retreats in the Amazon rainforest, and it's in a national reserve. We work with this specific community, and we work with healers that are related to this specific indigenous community. So we've been doing that. I'm in charge of the logistics, the accounting, and all the legal stuff, and he's in charge of the website and the other things. When I got pregnant, I knew that I needed to have a home birth. The medical system in Peru is not the one that I would prefer to have a baby. And the person that I was seeing, the doctor, he was very nice, a nice person. But then I asked, like, do you think that I know when I'm going to give birth? It's going to be September 20th because we read the tarot and I know. And what he responds, at that moment, I thought it was a bad response, but now I realize that it was a good response because it opened my eyes and it brought from me my inner strength to be in charge of the birth of my daughter. He said, when you take an airplane, you never ask the pilot how fast or how high in the altitude he's gonna go. You just sit down and you buckle up. And I said, okay, I see you on the next appointment. I never came back, and I had my baby in my house, and it was a beautiful home birth. And then I came back, like, for me, it was like amazing. It was like an awakening. So then I found this technique that I'm going to show today that is called biomagnetic pair therapy. Is it okay, the audio for you? Okay. What happened is you have different magnet therapies that they just follow protocols. So if you come and you say, I have headache, they are going to put the magnets on the occipital area. Base that in your body, the right side, it's positive and the left side is negative. And so if you want to balance this side that is positive, you put negative polarity. But Dr. Gois, that he was from Mexico in the 80s, he read a study that it was done by Dr. Brody Mayer in Boston, that he saw the astronauts coming out of space and they have one leg that it was shorter than the other one. And he was wondering what happened. And it was because of the electromagnetic field. And when he put a polarity, negative or positive, and balanced those legs, they got better. So Dr. Gois created these lists of 320, the basic one, of pairs. So eye muscle test. A muscle test is when you ask questions to the physical body, connecting with the subconscious of the person that you are seeing, and you ask different questions, a yes or no. But in this case, I ask based on the lists that I have. But now the list is being amplified. So you have viruses, pathogens, bacteria, parasites, fungi, but you also have emotions. So today I'm going to share with you. So this is the introduction of what we're going to see. We are going to see the biomagnetic pair therapy, because it's not just a magnetic therapy, it's by pairs. So this is an introduction, what I was saying, talking about Dr. Gois, that in the 80s, he realized how by pairs you can assist the body to promote healing in an acute symptom or to prevent any illness in the fact that you can boost the immunity. So you have different pH in the body. You have a pH that is different in the saliva than the one that is in the one that you have in the stomach cavity. It's a different pH, the one that you have in the duodenum, and etc., etc. So when the pH is not balanced, is too acid or too alkaline, then there is a disorder. In the respiratory system, this is overall for a respiratory system. You can see the negative polarity is showing parietal right here, temporal, and ear. And the kidney is the left kidney. You see the positive polarity. So what I use are these. There are magnets. You have the negative is the black one, and the positive is the red one. But because everything is based on intention, what I want to show today is that if you don't have the magnets with you, what you can do is you can make in a paper a black dot and a red dot. So which one is gonna be the negative, and the other one is gonna be the positive. Or if you don't want to do that, you just can set up your intention on your hands and say, like, I have positive polarity here and I have negative polarity here. So let's say, let's imagine that this person has a runny nose, has a fever, is not feeling well. So we, with our intention, using, in this case, I'm going to use my paper, I'm going to put the negative polarity in this area. And I'm going to use the positive to balance on the left kidney. And I can put the paper, I can put those papers here with tape, or with my intention with my hands, I can put them here. And the way that I always say is like, I apply these polarities, I impact these polarities in these areas so my body can heal faster. It's done, it's done, it's done. So these, we have 3, I will call pair points for respiratory system overall. Then on the left side, we have humerus, humerus. So these are 2 polarities. And you can see that we are applying the negative on the right side and the positive on the left side. And we can do the same. we can have our papers and we set up our intention and we can put it here with a tape and that right side. If we're going to use the papers, I would say a minimum of 20 minutes. The other one, the other picture is showing us esophago. It's a little bit tilt the right polarity, the positive polarity to the right side, and negative is right in the middle. But these pair points, as specifically when someone has had pneumonia, cannot talk very well, or maybe they have an ear inflammation.
Alita, can I ask you a question? Because if people are watching later on, I'm personally not clear if people can do this themselves or they should be going to a practitioner. That's something I think if you can clarify, that would be great.
Myself, the talk that I'm giving today is so people can have something handy if they cannot see a practitioner, but it's not something that you are going to do in an extended period of time. What the difference with the pair points, it's about the muscle testing. And that's the main difference with the magnet therapy in general, because in the magnet therapy in general, you go and lay down on a mat, or they put this polarity here and this polarity here, and they don't ask you or they don't muscle test. So for me, if you want to see a practitioner, that will be the best, because we can muscle test and see specifically where is the resonance for you having this cough. But some people, they feel so bad. So this is going to help more in this acute symptom that you cannot see someone else. So that's important.
And this is like a kit people can keep at home just for any emergency.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have, for example, and this is important when we are talking about the resonance, how you think, oh, these are my lungs that are causing me this pneumonia, but the resonance is coming from your arms. And that's part of the muscle testing, because you have something on your lungs, but putting polarities on your arms, specifically in this area that is the humerus, is going to help resonance with the lungs. So that's what is so important to do the muscle testing. But we are just giving like a general aid for someone who cannot see a practitioner right away. But this is important also to know that these techniques, you can do it in person, but you can do it online, like distance healing, I call it. So I'm able to see people in Peru, people in Argentina, people in Spain that are not physically here in Massachusetts. So these pair points that we are showing now are for someone who has an infection, so something deeper than a simple cold.
Also, Alida, one more question. If people want to find a practitioner, let's say you're not here, you are sometimes you're not here. What kind of practitioner should they be Googling for, like searching for? Is it called biomagnetic expert? Like what would be the title or training?
It will be biomagnetic pair practitioner.
Okay, that's the title. That's how they go.
Yes, that's the title. So when you study to be a biomagnetic pair practitioner, the first level, you study the basic list, that is the 320 pair points. And then you move, and then you do the by systems of the body, by viruses, and then you add more, and then you have 897 pair points. And then, for example, myself, I did 2 more trainings in COVID that is specifically for respiratory system. And then I did one that is for women, pathologies that are specifically for women. And the other one that it was called energetic medicine. Just because some people, they absorb in a different way negative energy, and that's causing a block in with their health.
And you have seen practitioners of biomagnetic pairing in USA? Like you think people can find, there are training institutes?
Um, I haven't seen one. When I cannot muscle test myself because sometimes I cannot do it on myself, I contact my friend in Mexico, and she's do the distance healing. I met one person, one client that she told me that she did Lyme disease treatment in New Hampshire, but I've never met the person. I could not say anything about this person because I haven't met him.
So there are very few practitioners, looks like.
Specifically here in United States. Why? Because the technique was in Spanish from Mexico, from Dr. Goiz. It is spread out in Mexico and in South America. That's Argentina, Mexico, Peru, Colombia. So it's very well known there.
Okay, so people in the US may not be able to kind of utilize this much. That means, I'm just wondering, like, be the practitioner, but then practitioner is hard to find in the US. Is that correct?
I know that there is, you can do it online, right? Like,
I see.
That's very convenient. Like I see my mom all the time because she's getting old.
But you need these pads, right? These two.
No, that's what I was explaining now. Like, for example, if I see a person, I put the magnets, right? If I'm doing distance healing, myself, I do it with two techniques. My husband raises up his arms and he connects with the subconscious of the person. So he transforms into the client that I'm seeing, and I put the magnets on him. Or I have like a picture basically of a man and a woman from both sides, front and the back. And I muscle test on me. And when I muscle test and it shows me the pairs, I use these magnets on the picture, or I do this. That is what the people that is watching this video can do. Like you can put a negative polarity on a paper and a positive one, and I put it on my intention or what I'm using to see the person.
And have you done distance healing? Have you seen any results from distance healing?
Yes. I've seen very good results. Actually, one of my best friends from the law school in Peru, she called me 2 Sundays ago. And she was in Miami, but she's from Peru. She went on vacations and she called me and she said, my husband went he went to the lobby of the hotel. They have a little gym for 15 minutes, and he went back to the room and he couldn't breathe and he was having a heart attack. And so because she's also my client, she said, can you muscle test him and see what's going on? And I found out on the blood test results that it was white cells by eosinophils and 2 other types. And it said, these are the ones that, besides he having blood clots, these are the ones that we need to impact. And I said, like, compare with the blood test. And she said, like, oh yeah, these are the ones. So you can find information, and you can do, and for me, it's like, because energy, it's all, like we are now, you and me, we're sharing energy, even though we are not in the same room. We can have the same results with distance healing than with in person.
So were you able to pass on some distance healing to him?
Yes. My niece, that is my sister's daughter, for the last 3 years, she's been having episodes of thrombosis, like when you have a clot, the same day, September 19th. And the last year, she called me, said like it was September 17th, and she said like, I have headache, but the year before, she had it on the intestines, and we did some sessions after that, but she was scared on September 17th last year. And I said, and she had a headache. And I said, like, I think that you should go to the ER because it's showing me a pair here and on the neck. And she had one. But she was in the ER and the doctor was surprised because she had a blood clot on her brain and she was just talking and she was talking to me because I was like impacting her. And in 5 days doing this and another energy healing, she had a dream that there was a fish, that it was the same fish that she dreamed about that year before that we did the technique, that it was eating the blood clot. And when she got the X-ray, the blood clot was gone. But for me, the main part of helping someone, because being honest, I don't consider myself a healer because the person is healing herself or himself. I'm just facilitating the polarities, and the person is gonna, the body and the mind is gonna, of the own person is gonna adjust to the new polarities, the new pH. But for me, the main part is the intention. I deeply, with my heart and with my intention, I connect always. And when I see someone in person, I put my hands on their legs near their feet, and I breathe and I feel from my hands coming like roots. So I'm one with this person, so I can get the information. And I do the same when I do the distance healing, and it's wonderful. Like, I've been doing it since 2015, and I haven't been the doctor, none of my family members, and I think that something is working.
All right, I'll let you go ahead with your PowerPoint. Sorry, but I thought anybody who's listening may have some questions. So because of Halloween, we have not had as many registrations as we were expecting. So I'm asking on behalf of the audience.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna move forward to the next one. And this is for cough. And we can see the same that we were seeing before, how if we apply this polarity, and we can do the same with our papers or with our intentions on our hands, we can always apply before the negative polarity. So let's say we are gonna do thoracics. We put, we have the negative polarity in this hand or on our paper, and we put it right here, the negative, and then we put the next one, we impact the positive. And we leave them there for at least 20 minutes. And the picture that is on the left side, it's very particular. Why? Because if you see on the thymus gland, we are impacting with the positive polarity. So which is gonna help the body to produce more white cells in order to reduce the inflammation and to boost the immune system. So this pair on the left, that when you have the thymus gland, you can put, in this case for cough, the positive polarity and the negative and positive on the back, on the lung for the cough. But if you feel that your immune system has some type of deficiency, what you can do is you can put the two polarities, negative and positive, on your thymus gland to boost your immunity for overall, for any acute symptoms that you are having. Now we have the pairs that we basically will use for nasal congestion, sinus infection, for a runny nose, and that is causing a headache. We have negative and positive, and the same. We can put the negative and the positive, and then we apply here the negative and the positive, and these are connected to the sinuses that we have, where we accumulate the mucus and the inflammation. So that's very good for someone that has a very runny nose. Maybe in the beginning of the respiratory process, we have more of a runny nose, or for someone who develops a constant sinuses infections. Here, I wanna talk about the hormone disorder. When you don't have a balance in your hormones, it's going to affect another organs. And basically with these pairs, what you are trying to balance are the adrenal glands. And the first pair is called the hypophysis here on negative, that is the black, and the uterus on red or on positive. And we are going to do the same. In this case, is someone that a hormone disorder could be to have premenstrual syndromes, dry skin, a person that is beginning the menopause and has too many, is not feeling good, has flashes, a person who has a disorder that on her cycle. So we can use this hypophysis uterus, and we do the same. We apply the negative and then we apply the positive. And for this case with hormone disorder, because it's not something all the time that is something that is acute, it's something that is being basically is chronic over the time, I would recommend to have a consultation. It's not like a respiratory system that you have the acute symptom and you just wanna have some relief at that moment. In this case of hormone disorder, you can do work over the time constantly. The second pair will be thymus adrenals, and in this case, it's different than respiratory system that we just saw. In this case, we're using a negative polarity on the thymus gland, and we are putting a positive polarity on the adrenals. And the same, we can use our papers with our intentions, the negative and the positive. Negative is the black and positive is the red one, and they can put it there. This is for any hormonal disorder. And when we talk about hormonal disorder, we have to also be aware that what type of products we are using. If we are in any type of birth control that is causing any problem in our physical body. And so these are the events. You just jump there on the events that I'm gonna have. So basically, there are a few things with the biomagnetic pair therapy. First, I always suggest to see a practitioner because it's gonna be for the individual what pairs you are muscle testing and you are finding. With a respiratory system, if you see today to the practitioner or you can know access to the practitioner, then you apply the pairs that we just saw to help you at that moment. But then I always recommend to see the practitioner. In the case of the hormonal imbalance in the body, to be cautious of what you are eating, what cleaning products you're using, what shampoo, makeup, dyeing the hair, all the things that can cause any hormonal imbalance. And for overall wellness, I always suggest that we have to be cautious of the mind, body, and spirit. The three things are together. We have to connect, not separate anything, any system in the body. Everything is connected and everything is working on a wheel. If you have any questions.
Unmute. Yes. So I think you have one more slide of contact info. Maybe you can put that up. So
This one?
Yeah. So I think as someone who is listening to this for the first time, I think what I am understanding is probably for any kind of first aid relief, maybe it's okay to have some kind of a kit, like women can have pains during periods, for example, or some burning urination, cannot immediately go to the doctor. So my question is, are there these kind of self-healing kits available with some basic instructions, some visual charts where to apply what for some basic issues?
There's no, like, the basic is the 320 pairs list. This is part of a training, the 320, because you have to address the part of the body and the symptoms and what are the connections.
Okay.
But what I will do is, like, I won't jump up and get the magnets, because it's going to be good enough if you want to do it in your house with this, in this case, because now is the cold season basically here in New England, right?
Yeah.
To keep in mind these pairs that I show for the respiratory system, and just set up your intention with your hands, or have your little papers with the black and red, and you can have 3, because maybe you have a cough but also have a runny nose, and something that it can help you while you are developing the symptoms.
Okay, so I think your information is up here. Anybody who's interested, please go to Alida's website and email her, even if you want to just ask follow-on questions from the talk, maybe. And Alida, if you like, you can stop sharing. Probably, it will be good for people to be able to see you again. She has shared information about her local events which are upcoming. So if you're in the area and if you can attend, go ahead and attend in person and maybe stay back to ask more questions. These are, again, not very mainstream, these modalities. So it's always helpful for people to be able to ask some questions and understand more so that they can use the methods better and safely and appropriately. So thank you, Alida. This was very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, there are many ways to get to wellness, and this is another way. We are a set of chemicals and we have our own different polarities in the body. And if there is some way to kind of manipulate or align or streamline or bring into harmony the polarity as it is supposed to be, then why not? That's another method of bringing about balance. So that's what wellness is all about. So thank you, Alida. I hope anybody who is listening will be able to connect with Alida. And if you have any questions, feel free. Do check out Wholistic Health Alliance website as well and consider joining. We have to expand the community of people with non-pharmaceutical ways of healing so that we are more and more self-empowered and drugless and know that drugs should not be used like candies. So there's a time and place for everything. So with that, thank you, Alida, once again. And we will, of course, remain connected, and I'll hopefully see you around.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome. I'm going to stop the card.